What's up, everybody? This is your favorite neighborhood fix-it man over at Mechanics Garage. Today we're working on a Hummer H3. We're gonna be doing the wheel bearing here today. So there's a few things you wanna make sure you got before you start this process. One of the major things, which most people don't have, is something to take off this center nut that goes on the axle. So for this vehicle, it appears to be a 36mm socket. Make sure you got one of those. If you don't, go down to your local auto parts store and you can rent one or you can buy one. But make sure you got that. Otherwise, you're gonna be looking like, how do I get this thing off? So first off, one of the things you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to remove your brakes. Take off your brake pads, remove your brake caliper, get that out the way. Then remove your disc here and get that out the way as well. And try to do a little bit of cleanup here with like a wire brush or something. That'll give you a little bit of extra help to get this center nut off here. All right, guys, next step after you go ahead and remove your brake pads. To do that, typically just put a screwdriver is what I do between the pad and the actual disc, and just push back on the pad and it should compress the pistons. They should move smoothly. And then go ahead and pull your pins that hold your calipers in place. That hold your pads in place. Go ahead and pull those pins out, and then your pads will just slide directly out of the caliper itself. Next thing you want to do is, there's two bolts on the back of your caliper. They're going to have to be removed. This is one here. There's the second one down there. It's that one right here. These are 18mm. Go ahead and remove those. And once you do that, get you like a zip tie or a hanger or something to take your caliper and just hang it off of your upper control arm. That way it's out of your way and it's not dangling and possibly damaging your brake line there. All right, we have removed our rotor and caliper. The next phase is there are 3 bolts that are holding this bad boy onto the car. So there's one down there, there's one down here, and there's one down here on this side. Those are 15mm. So you have to go behind here to get these loose. So what I had to do to crack them loose, to get the 2 that are on this side, I had to turn my wheel to the left because I'm doing the driver's side, and to get to the one on the back, I had to turn my wheel to the right to get the 2 on the back side because I'm on the driver's side of the car. And then to get the one that's on this back side, turn the wheel to your left and go ahead and crack those loose. You may need a breaker bar. It was what I had to use because they're on there pretty snug. So go ahead and crack those loose. And then the next phase is you go ahead and take your 36mm socket, put on your axle nut, and remove that. And typically what you can do, once you take those off, this hardly ever just falls off the car, which is a pain in the butt. So what you may need to do is either hit the top of this with a sledgehammer all the way around, because it's the old one. It doesn't matter if you damage it because you're going to be removing it. Or what sometimes I'll do, which I may do today, is I've got an air chisel, and I'll put it between where this butts up against the dust shield and kind of vibrate that loose, and that'll allow this to come forward and fall off the car. All right, our axle nut has been removed. This one also had a washer right behind the axle nut, so be sure to pull that off and set that to the side for reuse. Next thing you're going to have to do is, now this axle needs to be pushed through your hub and out the other side. Typically what I use to do that, which makes it a little bit easy, is I use this long jaw puller. So it's got the claws that kind of lock around the outside of the hub here. So I just put the jaws on there. then this bolt that's in the center, it has a point to it. You put the point right here, and then you just screw this thing in, make sure the jaw stays clamped on here, and it'll just push this right on out. Very simple. One other thing you want to make sure you do before you pull this hub all the way off the car is this one has a speed sensor on here, or ABS sensor that's connected. The new one comes with a brand new one. So you'll have to go up the car and remove the clamps or pull the speed sensor out of the clamps. The one for this vehicle came with these new clamps. So there's one connection here, and as you go up, there's another connection here. There's a third one here. And then the plug, this is the plug for the ABS sensor, is usually tucked back up in here somewhere. So you'll have to pull that loose. Since you notice it has another clamp on there, but this one wasn't attached. So you'll have to make sure you pull all those off before pulling this hub out your way. All right, we've got our old hub removed. And like I said, I had to use a chisel, an air chisel, to kind of help push this thing off of here. And then I just hit the sides of it from the back with a sledgehammer, and that pulled it straight out. So now you want to make sure you clean these surfaces up. I did mine with like a Scotch-Brite. You can use like a wire wheel or something just to make sure everything is all nice and clean. And then we can go to work and start putting in our new hub. And you can see how the old one was all crusty. The customer was getting like a lot of weird sounds coming from this driver's side, especially when leaning into a turn. There was like a thud noise. It was kind of like doop, 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 doop. So that noise was pretty consistent when turning to the right. So you can feel as all the weight of the car shifted to the left, it kind of was putting a lot of pressure on there. So we're going to go ahead and start reversing the process and put this axle nut into the new one, into the new hub, and put it back together. All right, we got our new hub bearing on. We hooked up our speed sensor, aka our ABS cable. We've tightened down our axle nut to manufacturer specs for the 2006 H3 Hummer. Now it's just a matter of just putting the rotor back on, putting our caliper back on, and we're all done. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out. For more tips and tricks, or just some more silly stuff, follow us at The Mechanics Garage on Instagram, spelled M-A-C-H-A-N-I-X if you don't already know. Like and subscribe to our videos. Thank you for your support. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Transform and roll out.